Before we begin, thank you very much to Oh My God, They Killed Waspinator, you Blendron, for pitching in over on Ko-fi. They say it right in the comment section. I can't escape the ridiculous name. I just can't. It's everywhere. It follows me and haunts me. But thank you very much for the direct contribution to the channel. It is always very appreciated. So I know everyone is having fun with this weird Ko-fi streak. You found out you could donate to the channel directly. So now everyone thinks this is hysterical, apparently. I will warn you, it's probably going to be dead in about a week and a half, no matter what, because I'll be taking a full week off for my usual convention, MetroCon, on the week of July 21st. That does mean I'll be posting videos automatically. I'll be recording and uploading them in advance, so there will still be daily content, but you will probably not have enough shoutouts at that point for me to cover in each and every one of those videos. So fair warning, it's probably not happening much longer, but I do appreciate you getting it this far. This has been crazy. So thank you so much for the support. Now, we need to begin with the topic of the day. I'm going to show you what inspired this topic here in a minute, but for the most part, let's introduce it first. One of the most important aspects of a Transformer is that face sculpt, right? Because it needs to look exactly the way your brain imagines that character. Any detail off, and it's going to ruin your entire experience. No matter how good the toy transforms or how good the body is, you're always going to stare at that face and go, ah. And this is a common occurrence, and everyone has their own personal preferences. Let's get that across. Everyone has their own personal preferences of how certain characters should be depicted. So not everyone's going to agree on what makes it look good or bad. So the important thing to remember here is we're going for the ones that are bad by accidental design. Someone tried and just kind of botched it somewhere along the line. So in this case, the one you see here is entirely intentional. This weird retool is from a crossover they did in Japan with a very popular comedian group. So this doesn't count. It just makes for a good introduction. What inspired this was our first up-close look at the new studio series Transformers 1 Starscream, and oh, that face sculpt. Oh, that face sculpt. He doesn't look like he does in the movie. I will say that. I don't know why they gave him duck lips. Like I don't know what's going on there. He's got collagen. Like he's had filler to puff those things up. I don't know. It looks like he's been working overtime in the kissing booth. And that's about as close to the actual joke I want to make as YouTube is going to allow me today. But no, this was disturbing. Do you remember that one news story where the guy accidentally ruined like this really old painting and then like sloppily colored it back in, hoping he wouldn't get caught? That's what this looks like. That's kind of what this looks like. I don't know what happened here, but that is hysterically bad. And this is one of those weird things where, like, I don't see the Transformers 1 toys ever getting, like, a rerun or, like a secondary pack or anything. If this gets retooled, the head's going to be different, definitely. They need another run of this toy with a better face sculpt. I'm just putting it out there. They do. But that's what inspired it. Hardly the first time. I think the one I heard the most chatter about was things like Studio Series 86 Cup, or, you know, whichever line he came out in. He's come, like, some of these molds have come out on so many different lines at this point. I'm not keeping track anymore. Why is he so, like, rigid in the sculpt? I know he's supposed to be, like, old. I know you're trying to convey that, but, like, look at the cartoon. The cartoon managed to convey that with normal lines without having to give him these, like, huge bags under his eyes that give them this weird shape that like he does not have in the cartoon. These extremely sharp angular dimensions to his face. That feels super weird. I don't know like what's going on there. Um it looks like I could cut paper across his cheekbones. You know, then they've had multiple releases of this toy, never fixed it, and I think that really would have made the 80s buzzworthy version sell better than it did, because that shelf warmed hard, and all I think it needed was a better head sculpt, because the paint job on that one actually nailed it. We can continue that though. It's not the only one. I don't know why. Like, this was just a trend. So Blur went through the exact same thing. Where the face sculpt just feels wrong. And I'm sure that there is some reference that they use. I'm sure there's some screen cap from the movie where, yeah, that's kind of what his face looked like really sharp, heavy angles and like a stretched out jaw. But it doesn't look good on the toy. And that's the important part. I don't care if you found a screenshot to source this from. The toy looks weird. It's just off-putting. And again, multiple releases never fix the face sculpt. That's just the way it came. And this is just a trend in the 86 cast. I don't know why. This culminates in Rodimus Prime, who, again, extremely sharp lines on the face, heavy, hard angles, and he makes him look so ancient. Like, you remember, like, Regeneration 1, where, like, at the very end, where Rodimus is literally the only Transformer left alive, and he's just standing on a dying Cybertron about to melt into non-existence. Here we go. This is what he looked like in that comic book. It's not 86 Rodimus Prime. That is not the face that he had in that movie. Heavy sculpting, heavier lines to convey that he's grown up, yes. Not PlayStation 1 polygons. I could do without that. The heavy lips are getting to me too. That's getting weird on me the harder I look. Yeah, again, weird. Like, we're still anticipating some kind of like Studio Series 86 re-release of this toy if they ever work it in. Needs movie accurate colors, needs another round of tooling on the head. All I'm saying. If they're gonna re-release this, if we're getting an 86 Rodimus Prime, they gotta do better than this. They just do. Now, problems with weird faces go all the way back to the original 86 lineup, and for that, we have to make fun of Wheelie. Normally, I avoid Wheelie on this channel because that's just the lowest hanging fruit. If the fruit was hanging any lower, it'd be burying itself and growing a new tree already. But in this case, it is accurate because the man has no head sculpt. He is face. He is nothing but face. It kind of points out the fact that like some of these characters are just going to look way too generic if they don't have the helmet that associates with them. You know, some Transformers, okay, you might identify just by the face alone. Cybertron Sideways, you could probably guess just from the face. But this takes away so much. Like this shows just how little definition and uniqueness his face sculpt has. It doesn't even look young. Like it's got the hard lines to it too. You know, when they sculpted the character, they had to know at the very least you're making a young Transformer. Why are his lines so hard? Why is he not smoother than this? Granted, it's 1986. I don't think they necessarily thought about those things all that much, but they were trying at the time. Like this was back when Hasbro had to do stuff on their own, so I don't know. We can make fun of it though, because it looks super weird. He is nothing but face. Let's pick on something else, Generation 1, but this one's more accidental than anything. Let's take a look at this. This is one of the most infamous faces you're going to see on a Transformer toy. So this is what reissued Jazz toys looked like a few times. And this is not an accidental, like, botch job on the sculpting or anything. No, this is just very, very unfortunate mold degradation. Now, the video is about the most infamous or worst faces on Transformer toys, and this does have to apply. We do have to actually count this among them, even if it is by accident, because they saw how it looked and released the toy anyway. So yeah, I think it's fair. If they put it out like this and charge money for it, I think it's fair. So this is just like a really weird way that the molding works. Jazz does have a sculpted mouth with a lower lip, but like this is like that edge curling up in the steel mold. And like even his visor looks like it's crooked. Even the visor has like a weird, like straight on one side, curved on the other kind of thing to it. But again, accidental. If we want to go for a creepy looking grin that is completely intentional, oh, hi. Hi, Hotshot. Welcome back to the channel. Been a bit. How you doing? Hotshot, my favorite punching bag. This toy is just, no. I think like when as soon as this was first released, everyone just kind of looked at this like dopey, slack-jawed expression and just went, nope. Nope. That is not gonna fly. That is not gonna fly. He looks, he has the expression of like a dog learning some new sound for the first time. Like if the dog's like head tilt of like, oh, if that was like a facial expression, that's what it would be. It's that hot shot. But no, we picked on him so many times. I don't have to tell you anymore. Let's start picking up the pace a little bit. Let's go through some Beast Wars, shall we? Starting with the newest one. Who decided that Megatron needed serrated teeth? This one should be a little bit larger so you could see it better. Oh, that's the wrong thing. Just so you can see it a little bit better there. Apparently, this was some weird mishap at the factory level because the original design sketches for this called for like more standard, normal looking teeth like he had in the cartoon. But somehow along the way, someone saw Jaws from James Bond. So he ended up with the big bear trap for a smile, and it's kind of unfortunate this toy has never been reused since its original tooling. So we never had a chance to look at it the way like it should look. Like if they had done something weird like this for like a Cryotech release, fine. But it really does come across like the factory didn't want to bother trying to get that tooth detail correct in the metal, in the sculpting, for the tooling, and then just decided to like switch it up to something that would be easier for them to cast. That's what it comes across as, and it's unfortunate because it makes him look really goofy. It makes him look really goofy. Like the shark tooth Megatron should not be a thing. We're going with weird animal details in faces. We stick with Cheetor. This is the Universe 2 version of the character. Why does he look like a cat? Like seriously, like that's not Cheetor. That's not how his head is sculpted. Tigatron, yes, Tigatron is kind of like in the show, kind of designed to look more cat-like in his robot mode face. Not so much Cheetor. I don't know why he has a snoot. Why does Cheetor have a snoot in his robot mode? This one always threw me off. Like, it's already a weird toy. Don't get me wrong, it's already a super weird toy. But the fact that they got the head so ridiculously wrong, I don't know how anyone approved it. It looks like he's wearing a face mask. It looks like he's like still practicing 6-foot COVID rules. And he's just kind of like wearing his mask all the time still. Power to you. Your choice in the matter. But can you not look so ridiculous, please? Oh, Takara did one better. When they were doing their reissues of the Beast Wars toys, they realized that they wanted to do Dinobot, but his face does not look like he did in the show, even though their goal was cartoon accuracy on the repaints. So they just painted a mouth on him. Just took a flat, sorry, They just took a flat mouth plate on this robot mode and just tampographed teeth on it and said that's good enough. I guess no one wanted to bother retooling the poor toy. I mean, from a distance, it works. Up close, the scrutiny is just it's just weird. It's just kind of weird. But you know what? They tried. They tried. To be fair, this one is not strictly a bad head sculpt or face sculpt. This is just like a really weird thing they did to change up his face. So, is what it is, right? It's a goofy attempt. Okay, something more legitimate, but we're staying in the beast. This one might be cheating. I don't know if this is cheating or not because this is not a robot mode face. It's a face, all right. Though, but does this count? Like, does Leo Prime count? Because like the dopiest looking lion you've ever seen in your life, does this count as just a bad face sculpt? It is a face, and I understand what they are trying to do. They're trying to convey a more natural shape of a lion's face, which does kind of swoop down a lot more than like the more stylized cartoonish lions where their snout goes forward. You know, that's how Lyle Convoy worked in Beast Wars 2nd. But man, he just looks so dopey. It's not an accurate lion face either, and the fact that they gave it like solid gold eyes is not helping in the least. Thankfully, the Takara version is going cartoon accurate. It looks way better, even if it is biologically inaccurate. I don't know who approved this face. I do not know who approved this face. It's drawn nothing but hilarity from the fandom. Here's a weird incidental one. We're going to move into the one movie figure. I promised myself not to pick on movie toys for this because that's very much a preferential thing, and I could go on for hours on what I think of the face designs in that series. But I am going to point out this particular Megatron. So, at this point, I have been neglectful in my duties. I'm shouting out Sabertron.com for being so cool with getting detailed photos of these toys. Like, they're the only place I could find like close-ups of a lot of these faces. I think that's because most people were scared of getting close to these faces. But nevertheless, this is from the Legends class, the little one. And this is the only semblance of what was originally going to be the original Megatron head sculpt from the original design. You remember, we managed to bully a major production company into changing his head at the 11th hour because it looked absolutely horrible in the original press shots and design images. He looked like he was just shrapnel with like a skull mouth sticking out of it. It didn't look, it's not even just like, oh, it doesn't look like Megatron, because we could have levied like those complaints at everyone. That doesn't look like Ratchet. That doesn't look like Ironhide. But the Megatron was just so egregiously bad looking. Like it was a bad Sonic situation. It was an ugly Sonic situation where we managed to bully the production company into doing something different. Oh, and by the way, it's also Paramount still. So apparently Paramount will once in a decade or so cave to pressure from an audience to change someone's head design. But this one is the only one who made it out. He's the only one with the original shrapnel face. Granted, he's the smallest one, but it does mean a bad one did get out there somewhere. I wanted to throw an Optimus into the list just for fun, just because I can. Most Optimus Primes are done pretty good. He's the franchise character, so no surprise there. But can we talk about the Classics Deluxe one? Aside from the fact that the helmet is a little bit oddly shaped, especially like how the mouth plate works on this one being double layered for some reason, it's the eyes. The eyes are haunting. Like, they're gigantic. Optimus typically has these like very narrow, serious eyes when they sculpted him. This Optimus looks like a deer in the headlights. This Optimus looks like he is constantly seeing a ghost. And it doesn't help that in close-up you can see the sculpting behind it, so now it looks like he has weird pupils that are kind of like aimed upward. Like, it's bizarre. It's a super bizarre sculpt. Like, most of the head is fine, but like Well, I don't know what's going on with the choices in the face, especially because like they did the Voyager. The Voyager looks good. Like, how did the same designers go from like that head sculpt to this thing? Not a clue. But we need to wrap this up. Like I said, these could go on for a long time. They've gotten these wrong for a long time. But I would be remiss if we didn't talk about what I think is the worst face in all of Transformers. And it's a real face. This is Metal Hawk. This is BotCon's attempt to create Metal Hawk. So the original Metal Hawk shape works because when you take off the helmet, the head and face are in proportion with the body, but this was limited by the deluxe Thunder Wings shape. So everything still had to work with that, meaning the head was already small. Thunderwing's head is already small on his body, and then you have to sculpt a human head inside the helmet that is the actual head size. And it's just the ugliest looking head sculpt you've ever seen in your life. The paint job, the fact that the paint job on these head sculpts were so bad does not help it in the least. It is the weirdest, most out of place looking, head design I have ever seen on a Transformer, and it just dazzles me every time I see this thing to know, like, this actually exists. How does this exist? It's amazing. And it's where we have to end it because none of them get worse than that. So let me know in the comment section. There's plenty I missed. What is your least favorite face sculpt in Transformers? And keep in mind, they're still coming. So thank you everyone for watching. I will see you next time. Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.